Hey, Hurricane Irma? Yes. Could you go fuck yourself? Politely go fuck yourself. Appreciate it. Hey guys, it's Perk, and today we are back with Storytime Saturday with Lucid9. And before we get too far into this, I do want to apologize for the lack of live streams and such the past week. If you guys didn't know, I do live in Florida, and Hurricane Irma was indeed a thing. If you were following me in my Discord or on my Twitter, then or even on my Instagram, there was many places where I was talking about, yeah, got ran out by Hurricane Irma. We weren't forced to evacuate, but it was a chance to go see family and such. And it did turn out to be we didn't need to leave, but we did, because it was a great chance to see family and be out of the state, so we didn't have to actually deal with half the shit. So that was fantastic. But currently, at the time of this recording, I'm recording this, and I'm not sure if it's gonna make it up on the right Saturday because I have no internet right now. No internet. We didn't lose power for too long. We did lose it during the storm. We have a neighbor who was telling us, like, we lost power during the storm, but then we got it back, and so we had power, but all of our cable, all of our internets and stuff like that all got fucked, and they don't seem to be very concerned about the individual status of people right now. They want to get like big groups of people online, which I understand, but like at the same time, it's like, can you give me let me know what's going on, at least like keep me in the loop of my own house, please. It's like, yes, I understand there's tons of people, but the hospitals have their internet. I know they do because my friend works there and he's chilling on his internet, but you know, that's all good and well and dandy. But that's more or less why there was not content for the past week or so. But I know you guys don't want to hear me ramble about why things are going on in the way they are, but I just thought I'd, let you guys know eventually, one way, shape, or form. Obviously, I'm probably going to do this a couple more times in a couple other videos, but not ones that you'll see soon. I don't know if that made sense. Nonetheless, let's continue. Guys, we are back with Lucid9, which makes me really excited, and it would be even better if my camera stayed focused. Guys, we're back with Lucid9, and I remember that we were just getting into some shit. So I'm done talking. We're going to jump right back into where we left off. So here's the interesting thing. I do remember everything that was going on last time. It was really crazy. But the biggest thing that made me worry a lot was that we switched perspectives, which is usually really big in a story where we had one very focused storyteller for the longest amount of time. You know what I'm saying? We had Yama telling us a story for a very, very long time, but now it's switched over to Rui's point of view. And it was after Yama just had a huge breakthrough, whatever you want to call that just happened. So we're not sure whether he's okay or not, and it switched to Rui's perspective, which makes me worry, to say the least. I'm not sure what that means for our character, but we have to continue the story, and we have to continue apparently from right now from Rui's point of view, which makes me worry, but we're gonna continue. So Akira suddenly leaps from beneath my desk. I smile in relief. I think it's real this time. Hey Akira, should I ask why you were hiding under my desk? Well, I'd tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. Akira. Both a favorite and a not. But we all already know that. So, drama club? I don't think so. Not today. She stares at me, not in a judging way, but definitely searching for answers. Remember what you promised. Yeah, but he's not even at school. That's exactly why you should come. We're doing confidence exercises. That way, after club, you can go right to his apartment. What? Today? Well, no time like the present. I'm pretty sure she gave Rui the same speech that she gave me, or Yama, earlier. God damn it. Now you're fucking up my fucking, fucking words. Well, no time like the present. I can't do that. Not in our current situation. The situation won't change unless you make it. Rui, it's a universal fact. The law of inertia? Precisely. An object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Currently, the object is your and Yama's relationship is headed straight into the black hole, where it will be crushed to tiny bits. Or create a time-space paradox that unravels the very fabric of the universe. I point dramatically to the sky. She grins in satisfaction. Exactly. So you should try, as soon as possible. I lower my hand. I'll try. I say this mainly to appease her. Honestly, I don't want anything to do with Yama. Not anymore. Even thinking about him hurts. Hurts to the point where I feel like I can barely breathe. Really, it'll be okay. She got serious for a second. You look back on this day and think, ha, well, I was a silly goose in a soap opera. My throat feels sore. I want to believe her. Honest. Thanks, Ancient Angel. Oh, nothing, Agent Goose. Oh, it's nothing, Agent Goose. Both Silly Goose and Mother Goose. She squeezes my shoulder comfortingly. I'm going to club, okay? Come when you can. Everyone misses you. Okay, have a great time. As always. She squeezes my shoulder again and disappears into the hallway. I should feel terrible for lying, but I can't bring myself to feel anything at all. I just remembered I need to do this. Hold on. I act like I haven't recorded anything in multiple days. Oh, wait. Can't bring myself to feel anything at all. I take up my bag and exit the school. It feels more like something out of habit than my own conscience choice. I actually don't come to my senses until I reach the school entrance. Why am I here? There's no reason for me to leave. I live on campus. I don't have any activities, and I'm not going to eat anywhere. Oh, right. The idiots and I used to hang out here, usually before a trip to GFC. But there isn't anyone now. Whoa. Shadow figure. Shadow figure. That was a shadow figure. I seen that. I seen that. I turn back to the school, but a sudden movement catches the corner of my eye. Yeah, I saw that. Huh? What was that? I head around the corner, but there's nothing except a trash bin. Weird. I must just be tired. I think about heading back to my dorm to rest, but a curious suggestion makes me hesitant. Now she's supplied with the idea of visiting Yama today, I can't get it out of my head. It's a terrible idea. He hates me. He doesn't want to see me. He's tired of me, right? But who's reminding that idiot to pay his utility bills on time? Who's dragging his sorry butt through school? Who's keeping him from collapsing out of his exhaustion? Ugh, Akira, why? Fine, I'll go, just for a few seconds. Pop in, make sure that some nuclear disaster hasn't happened, pop out. Easy, right? I should stop asking rhetorical questions. They tend to give me the answers I don't want. That shadow figure is on the left side of the screen now. I seen that. I seen it. I seen it. I turn around, peering down the road. Just normal people, normal cars, normal houses, nothing out of the ordinary. Motherfucker. Who the hell is following me? I must just really be tight. Okay, what's going on? I try to walk closer to the street and blend into the crowd, but I swear that there's this constant shadow on the edge of my sight. No matter what way I turn, I can't seem to see it. Now it's on the right. There it is. I see it again. I start to pick up the pace, weaving into more populated streets. Still there. Whatever's going on, I need to get out of here. Maybe I'm just being stupid, but I swear that shadow's actually following me. I jog back to the school, only stopping for breath when everything seems safe. No sign of that person, whoever they were. Good. What the hell? Why is it small now? It's super tiny. Why it has to be small? What was that? It looked like they were behind the school, but that's not possible, is it? The only entrance is the gate. How did they get in without me seeing? The figure starts running straight at me. I don't have time to think. I immediately sprint away, heading back to the main street. Why do you not head back to, like, a teacher's office or something? Well, I guess that's probably not the best of ideas now that I think about it. If anything can protect me, this crowd can. I grind to a halt somewhere in the mass of people gathered by the crosswalk. When I glance behind me, I still see the figure hanging around the edge of the buildings. I can't even get a distinct outline, but I swear that I see two glinting eyes in the shadows. And they seem to be looking right at me. I shudder, pressing myself as close to the crowd as possible. Thankfully, when the spotlight turns green, the figure doesn't follow. But it's a little strange. Why does that person seem so familiar? I come to a start with my head pounding terribly. Ugh, this must be what it's like to have a hangover. My eyes absently scan our surroundings out of habit. City, nighttime, sitting on a bench, cool breeze, a clear sky, and weather that I would have enjoyed in different circumstances. Is this now a flashback, or is this... I can't tell if this is flashback or if this is her currently. Did she stay out that long? No way. This has to be flashback, right? But usually the flashbacks have a vignette around them. This one doesn't have one. I don't know. Let me stop talking. Ah, that's right. I lapsed. I draw out my phone. Almost lazy. The thing at the bottom right is white again, which means we're back at Yama's point of view. What? Why did it just show us that with Rui? Oh my god. Okay. It just showed us that with Rui, and now we're back with Yama. The only person lapsing that we know of is Yama, and that little text box in the bottom right changes colors when it's Rui. It's like a pinkish color, and now it's white again. Oh my god, and it doesn't tell me what point it changed, so I don't know. I like that this book gives me small details to kind of figure stuff out. I like that. I really do. You guys are killing it. You guys are killing it. Nonetheless, I draw out my phone almost lazily, but my brain's still fuzzy as I check the time. 10 p.m. I've been out for it for how many hours? 14? The entire day, gone. No record of where I went or what I've been doing. I check my bank records on my phone. Nothing new. Photos, notes, calendar, nothing. Pockets, doesn't look like anything stolen, at least. Nothing super important. No messages and no calls, whether incoming or outgoing, unless they've been deleted. Is that it? Ah, wait, something in my jacket pocket. I pull out a slim phone that's cool and smooth against my palm. Right, the troublesome phone of Harubunya. Harubunya, who was brutally murdered. Harubunya, who had the latest phone model. Harubunya, who, after being murdered, someone had his latest phone model make its way into my apartment. If this doesn't raise more than a few questions, nothing will. I don't seem to care. Why don't I seem to care? Well, I guess it's not like I'm going to get any answers by just standing around here. I should head back to my apartment, take another look, see if I missed anything, now that I'm actually thinking clearly. Almost a little too clearly, actually. But what's this? As I draw near to my apartment complex, I notice a line of police cars surrounding the entrance gates. Lights flaring and sirens blaring. In the center of the light stands none other than Shigeru Inomoto, deep in conference with the police officer I recognize from my little trip into the forest. As per usual, Shigeru is practically screaming her lungs out with every word. Are you not cognizant of the impetus of which I have come? Officer Kobayashi, the Bureau has contended that this must be that this student must be incarcerated under suspect of recent homicides.
So I am aware. I harbored my own suspicions.
And you content with that such an intellectually impaired ersatz for a humanoid sloth could possess the sophisticated genius necessary to orchestrate the mass murders of his associates? Wait, is she talking about me? Are they talking about me? If police cars are here, if the police are talking about me, they're waiting to arrest me?
You know of him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter?
He was my errand boy.
You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect?
A muscle in Shigeru's jaw twitches. She stuffs her hands into her pockets and mutters something that I can barely catch. I am not wrong.
Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect.
What? Would Shigeru? The legitimate detective? Does she believe that I'm the killer? She wouldn't, right? The emptiness in my chest promptly dissipates, replaced by pounding fear. If even Shigeru believes it, doesn't that mean it's true? I agree. She agrees. I agree. The universe agrees. I try to step back into the shadows. My feet fumble and I clutch desperately at the wall, staring blankly before me.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Now we'll submit a request to Limniscate to track his phone.
The time such an action would take is too substantial. Barring the convict conveniently shares his location with us, the process can take up to 48 hours.
Then we'd better get started.
His motions to several officers standing by they gather around him in a loose circle. Wordlessly, I turn on my heels and sprint away. Where to? I can't even say. My shoes seem to move automatically, even as my mind stands still. Corner here, turn here, stop here. Yeah, that's right. I'm not just an ordinary high school student who woke up from an overlong nap. I'm a murder suspect. A guilty conscience. Someone who holds the phone of the murder victim in his hand after the victim's death. Shigure, she's not the type to lie to protect someone. I should have expected an answer from her. Then, if I accept it, shouldn't I be turning myself in? I grind to a halt at the subway platform, sliding into the nearest bench. Alone, in a crowd. Isn't that the expression? Hanging around in public is probably the worst place for me to be. As soon as they get a hold of my picture, my face will be broadcast across the nation. Who knows? Maybe it's already posted on Patter. Maybe Misaki or Yahuko have already stumbled across it and like Shigure, just like Shigure, turning one by one. Not a friend, not an errand boy, not an academy student, not a murder convict. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they all just go? Because you're not guilty. The voice is almost deafening in my head, resounding in every corner of my brain. I almost start at the sound. But what I'd want doesn't matter. The evidence says otherwise. Killings happening at night. The culprit, someone who knows the security procedures of the academy well. Someone who can fake sanity too well. What if, when I'm sleeping, my personality changes and I get up, sneak across town?
You know that's not true.
Alright, that's enough. I close my eyes and quiet my thoughts, waiting for an image to materialize. Sure enough, a familiar figure steps onto the scene. What are you doing here? I'm here to bail you out, kid. You know, last time I checked, you were supposed to be keeping me sane, not, putting voices in my head. Huh? I can only keep you sane if there's any sanity to keep, kid. Touché. You know, what you're feeling right now? That's disassociation. You're subconsciously alienating yourself from your own emotions due to anticipating future trauma. I know what disassociation is. I like it. You what? It's a painkiller. What isn't there to like? Snap out of it, kid. By the way, I've realized more and more as I've gone on through the series and given Mr. Ryota like a solid voice. It just sounds like Crow. It just sounds like Crow from Ruby. Like, I just sound like I'm trying to imitate Vic McGonagall. It's really bad, nonetheless. All my Ruby friends will like that reference. Anyone who doesn't know Ruby might actually still get that reference, because Vic McGonagall's pretty established. But nonetheless, I just sound like Crow. It's all I do, really. I feel like Mr. Ryota is a fair enough Crow. Anyway, snap out of it. Snap out of it, kid. You can only get to the bottom of this if you dedicate yourself to it. 100%. You can't be afraid to feel. I hope you know how cheesy you sound right now. Will it make you feel? Feel what? Exasperation? You can't give up, kid. Not now. Why not? What's there to discover? That I'm a murderer? A fugitive from justice? Look, do you honestly believe that you're the murderer? Yes! Well, clearly you actually don't, or you wouldn't have dragged me here. You've got my time for now, kid. Make it worth it. I start a little at the accuracy of this Ryota. I must have spent way too much time with him. So, the null hypothesis is that I'm the serial killer, and the working hypothesis is that I'm not. Good start, good start. What does that mean? It means that I need to find evidence that I'm not the killer. But you won't settle for that, will you? You want to find out who's really behind all this. I might not even know him. You're kidding, right? This is this huge piece of evidence hanging right in front of you that... Man, you know what? It's more fun if I just watch you figure it out on your own. Bitch, this is not the time! Ryota figure! You Murasoka! You are gonna give me my answers! I find myself becoming intrigued. How much do I know that I think I don't? Enough to solve what the police with all their resources and brainpower and authority still can't? The police are limited by a little... The police? Mr. Ryota with a question mark, by the way. How long has it said that? It's Mr. Ryota with a question mark for every time that he said something. I didn't realize that. That's funny. That's hilarious. The police are limited by a little something called bureaucracy, you know. Besides, remember your advantage. My advantage? Over the police? You have a core piece of evidence that they know nothing about. What might that be? Victim psychology profiles, school gossip, Harubunya's phone, dashing good looks. I want to be a dick and just be like, dashing good looks. But I know of Harubunya's phone. They don't know anything about that. I have Haru's phone right here with me because it was in my apartment. Bingo. The police don't have his phone in their physical possession, not like you. They don't have the same hints. Now, to be fair, they were buzzing around your apartment like vultures around a cadaver. So something's definitely attracted their suspicion. But it's not like anyone else was at Haru's murder besides you and the killer. At least, no one who witnessed it firsthand. Not only that, but the police didn't come into my apartment until just today. I wanted to make sure I didn't misread any of that, sorry. Just today. I found this phone just tucked away in my apartment. It had to have gotten there somehow. So whoever put the phone in my apartment knows the code, since there was no signs of break-in. And? Well, you're basically saying that the killer is someone close to me because they can access my apartment. Yes. And? You don't think that it could be, oh, I don't know, me? Oh, really? Then how did you lure the victims out even though you weren't close to them? Or why didn't you remember taking the phone from Haru? Or removing its battery? Or putting it in your drawer? Balance of probability remains that you would have remembered at least one of those events. Even so, we are not seriously entertaining this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde play, kid. You know your own medical reports. The lapses are a problem with your memory, not your behavior. It could have changed since then. Do you even know how sad it is that you're losing an argument with yourself? Low-key, hold up, that's savage. That's savage. That's not fair, Mr. Ryota, question mark. That's not fair. That's not fracking fair. Just move on, kid. We've only got so much time. Even I have to admit that it's an unlikely scenario. Right, so then what? So assuming that you're not the reason why Haru's phone is in your apartment, then how did it get there? Well, someone else had to put it there. Good. Who and why? The killer, to frame me. That would have to be the only other person with access to Haru's phone before the police arrived, and the police wouldn't have planted the phone in my apartment. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. We're getting to the murder mystery part of this. Like the real deal murder mysteries. Even if you have found the phone, the killer wanted to make certain that you wouldn't know what it was for. Why did that fail? What? Well, you found out it was Haru's phone because you turned it on. That was certainly not within the killer's plan. So now he's saying that the killer didn't know about the wall charging feature. The killer might have taken out the battery, but he didn't know that I could power the phone just by plugging it into the wall charger. Which means he knows something about technology, but not all. He knew enough to take out the battery, but not enough for the latest features. Ha, good going. You might actually solve this for real. See, you already know one thing about the killer that the police don't. Hooray, let's throw a party. Suck it up, kid. There's another weird thing about Haru's case that you need to remember. Happen to know what it is? Time of death, method of death, location of death. Method of death. He was killed with a different weapon.
Was he?
Well, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure he was cut to death like the others. Great. I don't really need that image in my head right now.
There's something that's really out of place with Haru's death, kid. Think hard.
Location of death? He was killed in an alley in District 6, not in the forest.
Fair play. Good, good. And?
It's a place with too many potential witnesses around. Even though the forest has police on patrol, it's not like they can secure a large portion of it, much less the entire forest. He probably knows the forest like the back of his hand. He could have easily snuck around them.
A sad truth, but good. Although it would have been risky to take a screaming victim into an area swarming with personnel. Would the forest have been swarming with personnel 2 days ago?
Would the forest have been swarming with personnel 2 days ago? No, there was a major police-related event. No, there was a prominent accident elsewhere.
Yes.
I guess it would have. Major crime scene.
So you're saying the killer couldn't have gone to the forest, hence why he needed to kill Haru in District 6. You sure about that one?
I mean, it's strange that he would choose an alley so close to the border rather than a more discreet area.
Seems like you missed an important part, kid.
What?
Remember what happened before Haru's murder?
What happened before?
What were you doing precisely before you ran off to District 6?
I was arguing with Rui.
And before that?
Oh, that's right! That day was also the day of Shoji Hasagawa's death, right on the subway tracks. Then I can't imagine that the group of the forest would be anything more than a skeleton crew.
Well, technically, those would be two entirely different divisions. One with violent crimes and the other probably with civil affairs or something.
Usually, yes, but it might have been reported as a murder. Yako was arrested and interrogated for it.
Did you see how easily he walked out of it? Must have been a witness interrogation, not as a suspect.
Well, it's either that or his parents were influential enough to...
Okay, we're getting off topic here. Let's just settle it like this. It's likely that it was handled by the Violent Crimes Division because it involved the death of another Academy student in the wake of multiple student disappearances. Furthermore, there were 3 witnesses at the scene. You, Yahiko, and Rui. And all of you are also Academy students. Happy?
Why didn't I think of that?
You just did.
Fuck off. Can we pretend you're an actual person for this time being? We don't need this little fuck you, I'm actually just you type thing right now. We don't need that right now. Anyway.
So why does that matter? The forest was still a fairly viable option, and at the very least, it would be a way for overly inquisitive citizens.
Yeah, okay.
Then why was Haru still murdered in District 6?
I guess it'd mean that the killer wasn't entirely in charge of his circumstances. Things didn't happen according to his plan.
So the question we must ask is this. Why and how was Haru murdered?
I can't answer all that.
You're killing me over here, kid. Fine, I'll rephrase it. Remember how every victim was previously logged in for curfew before they disappeared?
Yeah.
But Haru didn't. He was away from school even before curfew tolled. See something weird?
Besides the obvious break-in pattern.
Holy smokes, kid. The pattern is odd. Why would the killer kidnap students after curfew? Let's say I'm your everyday Joe. Well, your everyday psychopathic Joe. I need to kill a couple people here and there for reasons unknown. It has to be a bunch of kids at this super high uptight private school. When would I choose to strike? After curfew? Tell me why that's an obvious disadvantage. Ignoring the obvious security problems, it would
take place in a hard-to-see dark campus, limit the suspect pool, delay sleeping patterns. It would limit the suspect pool. Because the security locks down on the school after curfew, only a few people can be out and about. The suspects would be limited to students or maintenance staff, like the janitor or the security team.
Good. Hardly ideal circumstances for a killer. So pretty safe to presume that he wouldn't act after curfew unless he absolutely needed to. Which means that Haru Bunya missing curfew was his own choice, because if the killer kidnapped him before curfew, then why didn't he do so with the other students? Unless this time was an exception. Hey, everything can be an exception. You'll never get a working theory that way. Now let's think about this. Haru skips curfew while the killer is confined. Night falls. Unlike the other victims, Haru is out of school, but still ends up being killed. He probably thought that he would be safer if he wasn't confined to the curfew. Oh no, you don't think that. You think he went to look for the killer. There's no proof of that. I wouldn't say that. It's easy enough to stay safe in public. 24-hour fast food restaurants with CCTVs, public hospitals, even the police department, for crying out loud. The killer might know the school security systems like the back of his hand, but he can't control all of his Samu. And Haru didn't seem like the stupid type. Just so. Coincidence? Probably not. Good boy. But if that's the case, why wouldn't he tell any of his suspicions? You tell me. Because he didn't have any. He was just gonna tail the first guy who left the school. And on the other note, why didn't he notify the police if he was gonna take such a risky action? Why wouldn't he notify the police? Why wouldn't he indeed? This is what you want me to feel. Correction, this is what you want to feel. Because I have to understand what Haru is thinking. You only don't understand Haru because you're distancing yourself too much. It's time to get real, kid. Check that phone of yours. Check my phone? I stumble out of my concentration in a disoriented mess. Still in the subway? Which is now completely empty. How long have I been thinking? I peer around the abandoned platform. Nothing but soft flickering of dim lights. Well, I guess it makes sense. This isn't exactly a major station. A dull vibration in the pocket of my pants redirects my attention. Ah, that's right. My phone must have been vibrating this whole time. From Shigure? Probably. To lure me someplace or another. Or some teacher to have warned me of my absence. Maybe even a friend who's wondering where I've been. It probably was vibrating from that moment I entered the subway, vibrating incessantly. Commotion. I tend to shut it out when I'm overwhelmed, distancing myself from reality, as Mr. Ryota would call it. Childhood trauma, learned behavior, coping mechanism, all that bullshit. One moment, the world is there, and the next, it's just me, alone with my figureheads inside my brain. A caricature of Mr. Ryota to help me think better. Or a caricature of Rui to stabilize my emotions. Such extremes haven't been necessary for years, after all. What excitement happens in high school? Gossip, relationships, bullying. But now I'm distant. I feel it in myself. Somehow hollow, cold, something that apparently couldn't even notice the vibrations of my own phone. Well, guess I eventually noticed. I humor myself and scroll the notifications. Daily, mundane life, I expect. Who the fuck is calling me now? Please answer this goddamn phone. That was really intense. I didn't even break character, I think, much for... But, yeah, no. Like, I didn't really break character there because there was just so much going on. It was very intense. I didn't want to break the character, but goddamn. Alright, Akira messaged me, so... Sarge? Hate to disturb your 1,000-year slumber, but have you seen your destined princess? Dude, have you seen Rui? Is Rui with you? Rui, MIA after school. Respond ASAP. Rui is missing? I don't even realize it, but my fingers weaken and my phone slides through the spaces between my knuckles and turns end over end. Clatters to the ground. The shrill impact of fine glass against concrete echoing down the hollow, utterly abandoned passage in which I sit. Rui? Missing? She was being tailed by a familiar figure. Oh my god, what? It started out as a disappearance 3 times, a disappearance from a school, a mysterious vanishing after a log curfew. No one can find them, no one can contact them. Phones are tracked,
been found in garbage disposal. CCTV footage turns up corrupted or deleted or looped. Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart, the mutilated remains of what was once a human being. What if one of those bodies, one of those victims, someone who gave terrible, rending screams that only went unheard, was Rui? Waking up in the cold dark, greeted by a pale, croaking voice, seeing nothing but the sheen of a blade in the moonlight, something that saws through flesh. I force a shaky breath into my lungs as my chest constricts. The world pulses. Rui is the next victim. An afternoon disappearance. Another break in the pattern. One more shaky breath. My vision spins. Rui is with the killer, with someone whose mask is perfect, who disappears without a trace, who eludes the police without effort, like everything is just a game. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of law enforcement. Someone whom I could never dream of catching. Rui is going to die and there's nothing I can do about it. That's bullshit if you don't get the hell up, Yama. I swear to God. I'm actually angry. Get the fuck up. You've been way too close to figuring this shit out. You cannot just give up right now. Oh my God. I hit my mic. But God damn it, I want this done. You're figuring this shit out, bro. Ugh. We're just going to die and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a 17-year-old kid hiding in the subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from the police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone, just like that. Another figure who entered my life only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserves to live so much longer. Pull yourself together! Whoa, okay, now there's Elizabeth in my mind and she's not naked. This is my issue with this entire thing. Huh? Moving around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie? Interesting pieces. I'll figure it out after this. I'll tell you guys about it after this. Figures I'd see you. You like challenging me. Guess this time wouldn't be any different. So things aren't hopeless. What amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight has filled the space that was once empty and shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. Oh, okay, look, you can't be someone I want to bone 1 second and then be my mentor the next. That doesn't work, okay? Yeah, no. In response, Elizabeth's image flickers into Mr. Ryota. There's still a key that you have to remember about Haru's case. A key? Recall it. How did you stumble onto the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. It's only after the sentence spills out with too much ease that I realize it's irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping. We're not even close. Not only that, but there was barely any time between the location ping and his death. So somehow in his last moments, just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me. I fervently racked my brain for an answer. Would Haru really do that? Would he really put his faith of his life on me? I scanned through the flow charts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns a blank. My brain is freezing. I can't see beyond the mental image of stumbling on Rui's body, cold and bloody, mouth open in the last remnants of a scream. No, Haru, location ping. Why would he send it? Why would... Blood, terror, and the crushing force of water. No, stop. Must think. I force all the habits of my excessive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tall spine, tense all muscles, and relax slowly from top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rui could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place the cycle has, waiting and dreading the moment nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it! Mr. Yoda bleeds into Elizabeth, flickers for a moment, then bleeds into Masaki. Yama? I can't do this anymore. Mickey, please, just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the one with the best chance of finding that killer. Because of this damned phone! You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer.
but they have to trust your word that someone else put that phone in your apartment, rather than you taking it from Haru himself. It could take days, maybe weeks to clear the situation, even if you are eventually found innocent. By that time, Rui will be dead. Mickey, please, help me! Rui, don't you love Rui? She needs us! In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place... location ping? I received and sent too many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down. Or maybe you can start using your head. By the way, all these like image versions of these different people have question marks behind it, and I really like that detail. I've said it already, but I really like that detail. Before Haru Bunya, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Actually, now that she mentions it, I remember something. Location ping from Mickey? Did we arrange something? I don't recall any recent conversations with her. Yeah, it was you, actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. You mistapped because my name was right under... Wait. Mistapped because my name and his name are right next to each other. Yahiko Akari. When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yahiko Akari, the Happy Club, and is connected with 3 recent deaths. Akane, Shoji, and Haru. And before that, he also knew Midori and Toma. And he would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average Lemniscape faculty member, being the son of the higher-ups at Lemniscape. And I've seen how in the blink of an eye he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he has perfect control over how he wants his emotions to be seen. And he knows me, knows the code to my apartment, knows my schedule, knows my actions, knows my reactions. And he was there. At the murder of Haru, Yahiko Akari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seemed flabbergasted that I was there, so kindly offered to cover for me. Yahiko Akari, my former roommate, my friend. Well, isn't that just so damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But as my fury intensifies, as black anger, nausea, everything solidifies in the blood of my body, Masaki's image fizzles into Masato. What kind of friend are you, man? You know it ain't Yahiko. You've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah, give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your lock. Might be tough to break for one person, but ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So you're saying that the serial killer could actually be an organization, and that they decided to frame me when I got caught for one of the members killing when I caught one of their members killing Haru in District 6? Well, yeah, something like that. Then something doesn't make sense. If the killer or organization, whatever, weren't close to me, it's weird that I'm still alive, Haru's phone is in my apartment, Academy students were targeted. I'm still alive. It's weird because I'm still alive. Why wouldn't they just kill me? Witness to the crime, out by myself in District 6? They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive does a whole lot more than framing someone who's dead. Especially if he can't really defend himself. But that's the thing. How can they know that I couldn't defend myself? Huh? The only people who could possibly know about my lapses are the ones who are close to me. Really close to me. Rui and Masaki for sure, and maybe you and Yahiko. Which means that the killer could have been one of those 4 people. The killer could only have been one of those 4 people. It can't be Rui, it can't be Masaki, and well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But you don't think that way for Yahiko? You want me to list the evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yahiko actually fits. Let me ask you one more thing. Do you really think Yahiko's the serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe? Like you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you into track every day. That Yahiko's the man. No. I don't, honestly, I don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason, I just can't imagine that Yahiko would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? Could my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Masato's images... God damn it, it's going through everyone! Masato's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. Righto, cheerio! Time to think of this from another angle. We got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeve, Sarge, so don't give up yet. God damn it. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the type of person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are two completely different things. Like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtles out before you prove whether he's guilty or innocent. That's like counting your chickens before the avian flu strikes and wipes them all off the face of the planet. God damn it. So find proof Yahako's innocent. Easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've got some things stewing in that brain of yours. Such as... Akira suddenly morphs into Masaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's wall charging feature? Yahako loves technology as much as I do. Not to mention that his parents work at Limnescape. If you were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? That's... well, right. But by itself, it's pretty weak. Masaki fizzles, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru's mishap really imply? Remember, in his panic last moments, he was attempting to send a location ping to Yahako, but his fingers slipped on you instead. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yahako to bait him, get help, distract him, to get help. Haru wanted to let Yahako know he was in danger. If Yahako saw that he was in District 6, well, I think that even Yahako would know that something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru must have eventually been able to get a signal through, because he showed up even if it was after me. Not only that, but he had also already called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here now. Why would I? Go! Leave! Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yahako Ikari is now null and void. A little part of me relaxes before I realize that this doesn't exactly solve anything. Rui's gone and I'm nowhere closer to discovering the killer than I was before I started thinking. Rui is still in danger, I'm still a runaway convict, the serial killer is still running amok, having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Wait one moment. Think, why did Haru not notify the police before he began tailing the killer? Like me, he's a capable individual. We don't just miss such things. Why indeed? Why wouldn't Haru have requested backup or at least given an anonymous tip? He doesn't trust the police. He didn't want to alert the killer. He lost access to his phone. He didn't want to alert the killer. Maybe he thought if he spoke to the police, the killer would somehow learn about it and start playing safe. But that leads to a different assumption. The assumption that the killer would somehow learn about any information told to the police. In other words, the police are corrupt. If that's the case, then it would be a simple. If that was the case, then it would make sense why Haru wouldn't contact them. Simply put, he didn't trust them. Didn't trust them? Why? A personal traumatic encounter, previous difficulties in dealing with the law enforcement? Or could it be something else? Could it be that Haru saw something in the police, something that he could never forget?
You know him more than I do. What's your opinion on the matter?
He was my errand boy.
You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect?
I am not wrong.
Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect.
I agree. What the fuck does that mean? Could Haru have seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing this serial killer? Why is it that the investigation force didn't even go through the school, scouring the area for any evidence on the killer? Why is it that no CCTV ever turned up with any result? What if all this time sitting behind the curtain watching us dance, the police were just laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us? And that would mean Haru died for nothing. Yahako called for nothing. And now Rui will disappear, will be shredded. Now, Rui will disappear, will be shredded to pieces, will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing, not one damn thing, that I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up, and ship him to the police department, and he'll walk free because he was all part of the plan. Or worse, they won't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded and he'll miraculously break free, and they'll give a chase like a bunch of fools. And Rui will die for nothing. Rui, with her fiery passion and love and her endless enthusiasm for her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism, where there is no intrinsic value, no purpose, no beneficial weight to her sacrifice for me. She'll be remembered, maybe by a memorial for victims who were the targets of a horrifying serial killer who will maybe one day be brought to justice. That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her. One poor soul in the annals of injustice. No one would know of her smile, her little quips, or the way she bit her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Rui Hayata would only bring nods of pity and despondent sighs. And if she was really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness or weapon control or some other political objective. And then, as the days pass on, as time becomes months and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever. Drowned out in the names of other victims who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but non-existence. Ari suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Did I lose focus? Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out her. Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out her hair, turning orange and. Ah, gosh, you're a wreck. What happened? I open my mouth. A feelable, unintelligible noise bleeds out. You try to do too much, Yama. That's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything becomes so overwhelming that you just end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can. Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? Touch that. So you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yako, or Masato, right? I guess. My voice comes out very small. I squash the temptation to reach out and touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now she's not real. Right now she might even be... Are you paying attention? No. Wow. I think I finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then, oh all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. But that's not the problem. The problem is that the killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she just said. Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about this statement. It's that one bitch. It's that one bitch who made it's the one bitch who made Shigure dress up like a dog. Something about her. Or maybe someone else who's close to that. Your passcode is literally so you could get in. What sticks out so much? Your passcode, anyone. Anyone, just once. Anyone. That anyone who saw it could get in. The killer could have been anyone so long as they'd enter my passcode. No, that's too strange. It's not like I show my code to the world when I enter it. And even if the killer somehow did see it at some point, there's no reason for him to memorize the entry code of some random kid. There was something else. One thing that I just know is important, but I can't think of. Just once? Your passcode? My passcode, let's see. Your passcode, she said. But is it really right? Was something wrong with my passcode? No, that lines up with my apartment. Why wouldn't it be my passcode? I'm not thinking clearly. I need to concentrate just once. Just once. She'd been talking about someone who'd seen my code just once. Someone who commented on how stupid it was. Please, your code's the stupidest possible code. Please, your code's the stupidest possible code to exist on the planet. Even Mr. Ryota pointed out how stupid it was. Jiro Ryota. The man who helped me move into my apartment, who commented on how stupid the code was, who certainly would have remembered it. A man who knew all the victims because they each were fighting psychological problems, and he was the school counselor. No way, Mr. Yoda? A man who was up to date, the man who would know the security of the school inside out, would not be up to date with the latest features of a smartphone, like a wall charger. A man who was strong enough to inflict the same wounds as the serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, controlled enough to fake sanity in the day. A man who, after curfew, is free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised that I didn't seem to remember what had happened. A man who would certainly be curious at my unusual reaction. A man who could access the confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted? Trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I've missed. A proof, a theory, anything? Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer. Why? Why would you even? Why? Nothing but silence. The silence of finality. Of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. All tensions leave my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping onto the subway bench, neck uncomfortably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Yoda, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then, I should have seen it. Because why hadn't anyone else noticed? Why was Mr. Yoda the only one who thought something had happened that night? Who? Me? Nah, I'm pretty much a free bird after I verify curfew. I'd had my suspicions. I know that there was something odd about him. But I didn't want it there. I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Yoda. I wanted just one person who'd understand everything and stay on my side. Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use the confidential databases. I'm pretty sure that there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm no teacher. It's only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Right. You know how the entry student application to the academy requires a psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? Yeah, another security measure, isn't it? Let me read you this and see what you think. He knew about my lapses, not because I told him, but because he had access to my psychological overviews of each student. He would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care just like I was. God, I hate computers. But we'd all be dead without them. You know what was great? My desktop iPair. Man, that was great. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of a fan. You guys don't know how satisfying it is to hear your computer work to keep itself cool. That's kind of weird. No casual user has desktops anymore. Oh, and icon phone. Oh, and icon phones. Man, phones these days, if you breathe on them wrong, icon phones, they could probably survive a nuclear blast. And there we go, finally working. And he knew about computers, not an avid follower of electronics, not enough to know about weed, but enough to know about phone batteries. Instead of detention, the teacher is convinced that I need more permanent solution. Like death? I can help you with that. So how's the apartment? Still in one piece, mostly. Good to hear. And Phil? Phil? The little household plant. The one that I placed on your shelf. Your memory sucks more than mine, kid. Wow, how do you have this much free time? Life as a dorm manager is just swell, isn't it? Like die-cut pieces of a complex puzzle, all facts and memories line up in perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Ryota. I feel like I just skipped something on accident. No. Now I know it with certainty, intrinsically, just like I know. I can sit on a chair and it'll support my weight, or I can walk under a bridge and it won't fall on top of me. I just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph? A miniature party in the back of my head, giving me a cookie for successfully finding out the killer? something keeping me going, something propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer. Shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I call Mr. Yoda, well, that simply won't do anything. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further to head to. No way out of the conundrum I've worked myself into. The situation requires me to be clever. More clever than I can be. I want to think myself out of it. I want to think myself out. Find some magical solution, but sometimes it's just not there. Reaching into an empty bag and expecting handfuls of gold. Then, this is it? Ah, someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick it up, and on the other hand, I'll hear a cold, dead voice of Rui's parents, saying quietly that Rui has been found, but has a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. Sorry. I wanted to say multi-lacerated for some reason. I guess technically that is the correct thing. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it's tracking call from Limnescape, a bit from the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick up. Unknown. The phone number unknown, the risk high. If I answer it, and it is the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die, Ryota will run free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself, and somehow I'll have to extract Rui safely and catch Ryota and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible? Or do I need help? No matter how much I despise it. I can't answer this phone. I can't answer this phone. There's no way I'm answering this phone because they're looking for me. And if I know anything about police, they don't give a shit what you say. You can say literally just about anything. But they'll just say, yeah, just come here. We're not answering that call. There's too much risk. I'm not in a position where I can trust some random stranger. I stuff the phone in my pocket and ignore its angry pulses. But even so, do I need to come up with some kind of alternative plan? Wasting away in an underground tunnel won't do anything for me, or for anyone else. What can I do? I can't talk to anyone, and I highly doubt that anyone would take any anonymous tip seriously, especially at this hour in the morning. Being a wanted man definitely seems to limit my options. And my phone rings again. That's it. I'm about to turn my phone off entirely, but the name that pops up stops me cold. Jiro Ryota. Mr. Ryota is now calling me. He's got Rui. And he's calling me. Just the man I've been thinking of. At this ungodly hour in the morning? Why would he be contacting me? I haven't talked to anyone since I learned about the true identity. He shouldn't know. Nobody should know. My curiosity trumps my caution. I pick up the call, holding the phone gingerly between my fingers. Hello? Hey, kid. Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh in the end. It left me just like everything else. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. Hey, Mr. Ryota. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I was wondering if we could meet up. I have something important to tell you. It has to do with, your lapses. Is that really it? No, it can't be. Just like all the other victims, he's setting a trap. He must be. Just like every other mentally damaged student he's consoled. Mr. Yoda, it's too early for this. I know, kid. I'm sorry, but the police. He lets that hang ambiguously in the air, but I'm not fooled. Sorry, maybe another time. You sure? It's really important. Maybe tomorrow or something. I let my voice drop off, feigning sleepiness, but Ryota stills for a long, long moment. I see. Trying to play dumb with me, boy? His voice has dropped to a lower, colder register than I had ever heard him before. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows. How could he? I'm not deaf, I can hear your voice just fine. You know what it's... You know what's... It's screaming? Distrust. You trust me about as much as you finish your homework, don't you? The Yama I know, well, he'd be mumbling and grumbling, but he'd be dragging his ass over here. Why? Because more than being lazy, he's insatiably curious. This Yama? Well, he didn't even ask for a hint. Bit out of character, don't you think? My fingers tighten on the phone until they start to pulse with pain. There's nothing for me to fall back on. But I have to tough this one out. Ryota's dangerous. I can't let him win. Who knows? So boy, no more playing dumb. How much do you know? I know that you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murder is a harsh term. I like to call myself an artiste with an E. He chuckles again, but this time it comes with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. Just what kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my play, boy. I've been setting the stage. Talk normally, you've done it before. Ah, the false bravado of a man in love. I know it well. Did I really sound like that? I wonder. It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question, or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far the more interesting option, don't you think? Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull? Every hour passing drearily like a never-ending group project where all you have to do is murder your classmates. That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No, you do neither. Sleep. Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back. It just makes their descent all the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now let's set the stage, shall we? I thought that you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone at the entrance. I'll see if you try to smuggle something into the theater, understand?
Is that it?
Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you?
Sure, let's go with that.
Then I'll get straight to the point. There's a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tone of Ryota's punching numbers into his phone. Then I hear a voice.
Yama! Don't you dare do anything stupid! Nothing hits me, but it's like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Rui? Stay there! Don't come! I wordlessly open and close my mouth, desperately searching for words. My mind only runs blank.
I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now I am the master of Rui's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You come to the back of the school, you know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys, then I'll let you in.
How? There's no entrance.
Why is it that you all say the same thing? Boring. Where there's a will, my boy, there's a way. So that's it then? Ah, well, actually, I feel like I should tell you this just out of the kindness of my heart. Rui won't be there. For insurance purposes, I'm sure you understand.
My fingers clamp in a death grip on my phone. What do you mean Rui won't be there?
Hush, child. Why are you so impatient? Right now, Rui's in the safe hands of a third party, so long as you listen to my words. So we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Rui go. Everyone gets their happy endings except the police, who, well, they don't do anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Rui with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. But am I really in a position to be making demands? No, I can't predict this new Ryota. I have no power, no trump card. If I push too much, he can make the situation even worse. I'll have to make the most of it. Back at the school then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you'd better run. Ta-ta. And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Then all my muscles burst into action, and I shoot out of the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air cuts my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. Stoplights in the cross-section warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Engines roar by and horns belt in full volume. I'm certain that cars roll down their windows to call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long work day, or from grabbing fast food around the corner, or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl locked up somewhere knowing nothing, except the sickening fact that at any moment she might die. And yet, on they go with fast food and martial arts and cram school. Oh my god, bro. I think this could be the end of this series. I didn't expect quite yet. I expected like one more good hour or so, but I think this is probably going to be it. Bro, it was Ryota the whole time. It was Ryota the whole time. The whole time. It was Ryota the whole time. That's good ass storytelling. We need to figure out this fucking conclusion. Let's do this. Fuck you mean. The world blurs by in a haze of bright fluorescent color until I finally grind to a halt at the entrance of the school. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I'm forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes. I only have 2 left. I press my sleeve against the sweat coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of the school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Round up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor, and if I squint, I can catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Well, maybe this school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I notice a long, distinctly human-shaped figure leaning against the solid wall. Fine weather we're having. I expect the voice, but I don't expect the extensive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight to my eyes, no matter how hard I try to keep them down. The Ryota steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Out for a little night exercise. I try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. A power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep deprived. Forcing me to run here only gave him more of an advantage. There's nothing I can do about it. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. Wordlessly, I reach into my pocket and silently hand him my phone. I don't have any other choice. Turn out your pockets, pants, and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoe or your underwear. Come in. We've wasted enough time. How? We're at the back of the... Then he touches the wall and part of it slides away, and suddenly there's a keypad. He dabs a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad and waits. The wall slides open. It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of an ancient architect in video games, where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes and dust falls from the ceilings and magical passages are revealed. Simply put, a door-shaped part of the wall swings open, as if it was just a door painted to look like a wall, except the texture is somehow exactly the same. It's quiet. It's understated. I would have never guessed in a million years that this was there. Ryota clocks my shock and only grins in response. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get it out somehow to dump his trash. Now smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected, impenetrable walls in every direction. The only gate supervised by a card reader and cameras. But functionally speaking, you think that the janitor is going to walk out the gates all the way around to the school to go back that way around through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing socks. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing socks. Great callback. Not the time. I knew there had to be another way in, and well, it took some searching. But that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryota? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all of Isamu has a crappy security system. I, one man, outsmarted it just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be in their facility. Ha! Sloppy work on their part. Let's go. The night isn't getting any younger, and nor am I. He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfect, even over the ground. I then notice how his careful steps renders him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me upstairs to the second floor. He opens the door, lifting an eyebrow at me. I only stare inside the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Ryota could have already killed Rui. There are so many moving components to this encounter, so many potential things that could have gone completely wrong. I just turn my gaze to Ryota, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctly more impatient fashion. Impatient. I file this nugget into the backup portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then, with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Ryota follows straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a loud crow. And the delinquent arrives at last. He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready for work, tossing his keys and phone on top of the desk, probably in an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stopped abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. Huddled in the back corner of the room are two desolate figures tied firmly to their chairs. The first is a girl, the second a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless. I always forget I need to drink water every so often while I'm talking so damn much. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling down their temples and dripping onto their necks. Their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them absolutely terrified. Innocent bystanders pulled into this sick, dastardly game. The fuck was that? That's when Ryota abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against his desk, blasting my ears with a sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in a remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right at my chest. You! Why aren't you sitting down? I sit down, throat dry. Ryota's shoulders immediately relax. Good. That's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you get to be my special assistant. My body goes cold. My eyes immediately turn to the knife. Ryota, reading my intentions, chuckles. Oh, don't look so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it. I shouldn't be relieved. He is a discipliner. I am a discipliner. Whatever he is planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if I don't, then all of us will be killed right here, right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. What do I have to do? Oh, that's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls out something underneath it. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length. Rough around the edges. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down and pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees. Good, solid blows that'll make a nice musical sound. The first discipliner who knocks out or kills their disciplinee loses. The 2 students explode into wailing at this statement. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please, please don't hurt my sister! Don't hurt me! Oh. This makes me freeze. Brother and sister? I silently watch Ryota gleefully skip over to the chair. I watch as Ryota gleefully skips over to the chairs, dragging the 2 students over. Brothers and sisters, the cruelty will never end. I swear if you lay one finger on my brother... Ryota stops abruptly, the momentum throwing the girl against her ropes, temporarily choking her into silence. Isn't she just so darling? I picked her out specifically for you, boy. You... Did you? Oh yes, and she gets to be yours. I stare in silent horror as the girl. She only turns her head away. Hyaso, look at me! Look at me, Hyaso! The terrified boy locks eyes with her. Face dosed in a mixture of tears and sweat. She'll be okay. It'll be okay, do you understand? It won't be. It'll be fine, okay? Of course she'd say that. Except the first person to fall unconscious means a loss. Which means I have to inflict pain without the promise of comfort. I can't do this. If I want to win or at least not lose, each blow needs to be felt by the conscious minds. Now don't give me that face, boy. Be glad I didn't pick the knife. I mean, I'm pretty tempted to, but then you'd probably lapse, and that's just boring. Something like this needs to be remembered. So, are we ready to begin? No, we can't. I'll go first. Watch and learn. He stands over the boy, gripping the pipe tightly in one hand, keeping the knife in the other. I watch transfixed, even while everything in my brain is screaming for me to turn away and close my eyes. The boy whimpers quietly, eyes wide, squirming around the crude ropes that bind him to his chair. Ryota smirks quietly at him and ruffles his hair. Not gonna lie to you, kid. This is gonna hurt like hell. No! Ryota raises the pipe painstakingly slow, revealing the drama of the moment. 3, 2, 1. He whips the pipe down, but when it's just an inch away from the boy's kneecaps, he stops. Psych! The boy releases a great shudder gasp, shoulders dropping in relief. Then, without a moment of hesitation, Ryota lifts the pipe and brings it down. Crack! Goes the bones against metal, and the air splits from the impact of the horrifying, agonizing scream, punctuated by a shrill screech of metal as the base of the chair grinds against the ground from the force of the impact. The boy is still screaming as Ryota steps back, an expression that I've never seen dawning on his face. Oh, beauty! True beauty! How poignant is your sting! He giggles quietly to himself as the boy writhes against his chair, leg forced into an awkward angle. Ugh! Damn it! This can't go on. I can't let this go on. And there's just one thing to do. Well, your turn, boy! This is a nightmare with no awakening, a dark tunnel with no sign of life. What use is it? There's nothing left to wait for. It's better to end it quickly than prolong needless pain. I shouldn't have come here in the first place. I shouldn't have tried to fix anything. If only I remained unattached. If only I had stayed oblivious, none of this would have happened. I raised the pipe with certainty. Hands cold but steady. It would have been better if I had just stayed as a normal high school student breezing past his final year of studies before the university exam. Alienated from this world of misery. I swing the pipe. The impact rushes assuredly into her skull, splitting it cleanly. She doesn't have time to scream. Oh shit. She doesn't have time to scream. I straighten, expecting to fear, terror, guilt. Expecting to fear, terror, guilt, fear. The only thing that overcomes me is a wave of nausea. Not the sickening blow of the fever or the flu. Something on a deeper scale than flows on the outer edge of my body. A sensation that's slimy and incurable. Murderer, my mind whispers. There's a silence from Ryota, even the boy, not a single peep. The boy should be screaming in fury. He should be swearing vengeance at me, vowing to make me suffer for killing his sister. Ryota should be cackling with satisfaction. He's finally broken me to the point where I've taken a life. The two of them only stare at me silently, as if frozen in time. Frozen in. I drop the pipe, but it ends soundlessly. Like the word is a velvet muffler. What is this? I step towards Ryota, but he doesn't budge. His eyes remain on the spot where I was. The room is still and silent, miraculously peacefully, like a scene put on pause or a stage play in the middle of an intermission. A shadow flits in the corner of my vision, immediately drawing my attention. Who's there? Nothing. Of course, nothing. There's no longer anything, simply emptiness. Because I am helpless, there's nothing left for me. This is out of my control. I can do nothing more. Death after death, an endless cycle of suffering, living in a world that delights in breaking innocent souls. It's better to just give up and die. If I could fall to the ground right at this moment and just let myself rot, that would certainly be ideal. Or do I need to live? To lie down without a fight, or to set my revenge on the world? To make society resent the people who raised such a monster? A tantalizing thought. This is out of my control. And now in my control. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. And so I wake. Time has resumed. No, it had never stopped at all. The girl's split corpse tumbles crookedly in her chair. If I bothered to look, I would probably see organs slithering out of her skull. I breathe deeply, despite the cloying scent of iron. Oh, this music is so uneasy, feeling refreshingly alive. You monster! Despite his numerous injuries, the boy writhes against his chair, screaming in a toxic concoction of fury and pain. A truly tragic scenario. But he is obnoxious and hardly influential. It would be better to dispose of him without hesitation. I reach down and grab the pipe, crushing it against his forehead with all the force I can muster. Instant silence. I sigh quietly, flicking fragments of bone and blood off the pipe, feeling for the first time in total control of the situation. So this is true strength. How I envy it. I turn my gaze into the man standing by the shattered teacher's desk. His face is utterly still, masked with years of long practice, but I can sense new wings of terror beating beneath his breast. It has probably been a long time since a man like him has felt fear, almost an entirely new sensation. I smile absently, a tingle of pride buried beneath my hollowness. This man, with a haggard face, beaten brow, shredded pupils, accustomed to the chaos of the highest orders, fears me. Who are you? Why do you ask? I see this man's calculations crumbling in his eyes. Clearly this is a situation he had not expected. You're not Yama. Nonsense. That's no one else. There's no one else who I could possibly be. He's simply limited by his preconceived notions. The fool. I advance towards him, raising my well-worn pipe. Let him burn. Let this whole world burn. It deserves nothing less. Wait! He throws up a hand, trembling with adrenaline, looking for a way to escape. He's such a brave man, and yet so cowardly. I'm waiting. You want something different, don't you? I stretch my sore muscles idly, paying little heed to the knife clenched tightly in the man's hand. An intelligent fellow. He's had it all this time. But even though he's drawn it, he knows better than to use it on me. What could you possibly mean? The man is still for a moment, his eyes flickering down to my open ribs cage. But the knife stays at his side. Instead, he raises his unarmed hand, pointing across the room, towards the broad window that eclipses the edge of the classroom. I know that look in your eyes. We're not so different, you and I. Oh. This seems like a perfectly acceptable moment to chuckle, but not even a smile crosses my lips. Intriguing. You want bloodshed. I can help you with that. You'll gain very little from killing me as opposed to letting me help you. I tilt my head, humming quietly. A sensible offer, but... I suddenly flash forward, holding my pipe with both hands. Ryota flexibly swings his knife, but his actions move like mud to my eyes. I easily catch his blade against my pipe and drive the leverage to rotate it into his own chest. The knife sinks softly into his flesh. He stares at me, agape. Could not have been more wrong about what I want, unfortunately for you. You! I jolt my grip, thrusting the knife deeper in. He grasps for breath with a gurgling sound, no doubt the result of blood flushing through his lungs. I release my hold, knowing the wound would be fatal, and step away. After a moment of deliberation, I decide to pick up Ryota's pipe. A nice moment of irony. I step to the classroom window, my path littered with corpses. Jiro Ryota, an unfortunate boy, an unfortunate girl. I draw myself to the window, regarding the peaceful sky without emotion. To see smoke cloud that sky, flecked with embers and ashes, I look forward to seeing that day. The new story shall begin here. I casually flick the lock on the window and push it open with my pipe. I would have liked to have cracked the glass open like I cracked the skulls, but I have more important things to take care of. It's time for the city to remember. Bad end. Hold the hell on. Hold the hell on. I played into his hands like a fucking putty. But then I broke free at the end. What? Ah! Fuck this novel! Fuck this novel! Oh, fuck this novel. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know. I killed 3 people and then killed myself. That's what just happened. I didn't save anyone. I killed 3 people and killed myself. Hold on. We're checking something. I saved right here. I saved right here. I saved right here, okay? Last time we didn't answer the phone, and Ryota called us after. This time we're gonna answer the phone and see what happens. No, I have to pick this up. Facing Ryota by myself will only result in getting both Rui and me killed. Well, I don't know about Rui, but I know I got killed, but we killed the murderer. You know, I'm actually okay when we killed Ryota, but I feel so bad about the other 2. I turned into a murderer at the end. Fuck. God. I hate this right now. Fonts, guys. God damn it, they. With shaking fingers, I answered the call. Hello? Yama Ishimoto, I need you to listen carefully. This is my personal phone, and it cannot be tracked. The number you have been contacting until now has been my work phone. Shigure for the win! For the win! What? It's been her work phone! And this unknown number
I'm celebrating too early. This could be a trap. She could still not trust me. I don't know. Shigure! Oh my god. Shigure, please. For the love of God, be on my side! This is my personal... Cannot be tracked. The number you have contacted now has been my work phone. I need to hang up now. Surely they're tracking my number, narrowing down the districts and block even to the last millimeter. But I only clutch the phone tighter. The walls that I've built, struggling to keep a foothold of my emotions, are starting to crumble. The police are in the midst of a manhunt for your person. They sincerely believe that you are the killer. And you need me to turn myself in? I need you to stay out of sight and give me time. What? Is this some kind of next level bait? I don't understand. Don't get caught, Ishimoto. Anytime you might give me is time we dedicate to catching the true killer. But you said you are the only suspect I could trust to avoid the police for the necessary amount of time. I fall into silence at the magnitude of her statement, only growing the more I ponder it. Only what? The more I ponder it? The magnitude of her statement only growing the more I pondered it. You saw me at the apartments and were warning me? You hardly were inconspicuous. So if you happen to possess any previously unknown information regarding the identity of the killer, now would be a wonderful time to state as such. It could be a trap. It could still be a trap. But I don't think it is. The killer is Jiro Ryota, the dorm manager and the counselor of the academy. Silence falls momentarily on the other end of the phone. I could practically see Shigure's grip tighten. What? How did you come to know this? Shigure, did you get any recent disappearance reports? 3, actually. I need help. Shigure, help. My voice cracks, and I hate it. I hate feeling vulnerable, hate feeling open, but I don't have a choice. Shigure falls silent for a long moment, and just when I'm beginning to think that she's hung up, she speaks. Will you live within the next 5 minutes? Her voice is slow and steady, soothing my frazzled nerves. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not injured. Then the urgency. Rui's disappeared. I work to speak, but my throat's gone dry. After a moment of silence, Shigure continues. You presume she is with the killer? He must have taken her. I actually know that she's not with the killer, but the killer has taken her. I know that, but that's because apparently I've just got the time of fucking Subaru from goddamn ReZero, and I could just go back in time. Thank God for saves. Save points. I have no time to question you, Ishimoto, so I will ask you this and only this. Are you completely and absolutely certain that the culprit is Jiro Ryota? Yes. I say without hesitation, and it appears to catch her off guard. Very well. I shall send forces to the academy under the reasoning that you may be hiding there. We may be able to find where he is hiding, where he's holding Rui. That's it. She just takes my word as law? Thanks? In the meantime, stay out of sight and out of mind, do you understand? But Ryota would see the police coming. He wouldn't stand still. He would escape immediately after killing Rui. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him. For what purpose? We need to meet him. To buy some time. Otherwise... Shigure violently explodes into the strident screams that I'd never heard from her before. You gullible imbecile! You moronic excuse for what are you even thinking? I'm taken aback by her sudden flare of passion, but my surprise is quickly replaced by indignance. At least I'm telling you now, aren't I? Oh, yes. When it was nearly too late, and I would have called a... Oh, yes. When it was nearly too late, and I would have called a corpse. Simply put, Ishimoto, you haven't told me anything. Why would you not speak to me if you knew the identity of the killer? A very real bolt of anger lances through me. Why? Because I just figured it out. Because somehow, barely at the end of my rope, I found something to cling on to. But I can't tell her that. If I say that I just figured it out, she might change her mind. She might need the reasoning. Who would trust a teenager who just figured out the supposed identity of a serial killer? I had a good reason for doing so. Oh, good. Do enlighten me. What? You can't just believe me. Need to throw some more tests? Another little riddle run in District 6? Hell, was the investigation in the school just another goose chase? A funny little game to see how the kids in the academy dance? What are you saying, Ishimoto? You're right, I guess. Even while I was figuring out who the killer was, I didn't call you. I didn't ask for your help. Because I knew what you would say. You'd poke holes at me, you'd say the reasoning didn't make any sense, you'd need empirical evidence. I knew that you wouldn't have believed me.
You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place. Cold silent descends. I wouldn't have believed in you? Then something happens. Something that I would have thought to be impossible. Shigure's voice cracks. But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you had just trusted me. If you just... She falters for a moment, then seems to recover, her voice strengthening. Ishimoto, regardless of my previous insinuations, I need you to know something. I do not tolerate the idiocy of the average ingenious denizen. Much less than that, become my personal assistant. Much less let them become my personal assistant. You have repeatedly proven yourself through the rational deductions, your level-headed procedures, and your propensity to attack problems from unusual angles. Your input is invaluable. Despite our clear disparity in experience, you have taught me several valuable lessons. Do you wish to know why I pulled your accomplices into the investigation rather than opting for a police unit? Simply put, my permissions in the case were barred from the Academy. All information I was given was secondhand, and thus easily corruptible. However, I was impressed by how you and your accomplices worked wholeheartedly. Yama Ishimoto, I have faith in you. Her words pierced through me. I'm frozen to the ground in shock, wordlessly opening and closing my mouth. Shigure believes in me? I don't even know how to react. But after meeting with Nasaki, you fired you. That was for your own benefit, you imbecile. Or are your eyes too... Oh, never mind. This familiar type of response rings a chuckle out of me, but my mind is still racing. I have faith in you. Those simple little words. Words that tell me that I can do something, that acknowledge my efforts, that tell me it's okay, you'll do the right thing. In the distance, I catch the familiar glimmer of the approaching subway, hailed by the distant echo of the announcer's voice. Sudden clarity breaks into my mind. It's as if every disjointed piece fell into place. I know what to do. Thanks, Shigure. I get to my feet as the subway grinds to a halt before me, but Shigure's voice comes harshly into my earpiece. Yama, listen carefully. We are en route, but there are powerful forces behind this case that remain very hostile. It will take time to arrive. You understand this? I do. I'll get you time. I'm extremely uneasy at the thought of knowingly sending a civilian into the presence of an unknown serial killer. But if you honestly believe you can prevent a death tonight, I shall not stop you. I think I can. Oh, well, that sounds convincing. I probably can. I suppose that is the best that I can ask for. I would wish that you might wait until I can convey a firearm to you, but not possible at the current time frame. I have to go now. Neither of us mentioned that it would also be extremely illegal. Understood. Understood. Best of luck, Ishimoto. 1 sec. Stay on call. There it is! Oh, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. You're going down! I punch Ryota's contact and set the phone on speaker, waiting patiently. Shigure apparently understood. Not a word crosses her lips. Finally, a neutral tone indicates that Ryota has picked up. Hello? Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, left... Yes, we know that part! I quickly shake myself and try to match my words. He's an enemy now, a stranger, feigning ignorance. Maybe I can still grab an advantage. Hey, Mr. Ryota? Hey, kid. That's when I realized that something is terribly wrong. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, and yet he picked up immediately. And he sounds wide awake. Almost as if he's preparing for this moment. Oh, he has. Mr. Ryota? Say, you have great timing. I was wondering if we could meet up. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I have something pretty important to tell you. It has to do with, you know, your lapses. Is that really it? Is that why he's up? I can't bring myself to believe that. Mr. Ryota, I was just... But before I can add anything, Mr. Ryota's phone buzzes angrily in the background. He pauses for a moment. Sorry, kid. Just let me take this call real quick. And he suddenly mutes. Finger shaking, I also mute my end, switching to Shigure's call. Did you hear all that? Quite clearly. Ishimoto, about the call Ryota just received. I am uneasy that may perhaps... But when I hear Ryota's voice, I quickly switch back to his call and unmute. Thankfully, Shigure immediately falls silent. Mr. Ryota? Da-da-da. Mr. Ryota, did you find out anything about... Nice try. You almost had me. Hang up the call with the police first. Then we'll talk. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows? How does he... How could he... Hurry up, boy, I don't have all day. I shakily mute and switch the call. I expect Shigure to burst into anger, but she only seems resigned. It is as I surmised. A mole? That, or... She trails off, as the thought is too terrible to comprehend. Ishimoto, knowing this new risk, are you still determined to enter the school? I have to. I can't let Ryu go without a fight. I shall bring a unit. Give us as much time as you possibly can. I will. Ishimoto, given the choice between stupid option and stupider option, which would you pick? The less stupid one? Wrong. You must pick neither and wait. Please, Ishimoto. You wouldn't enter the lottery. No, you wouldn't enter the lottery nor borrow from a loan shark in order to buy a house, no. It is best to wait and save. Do you understand? What? Just remember this. And there she goes. Okay. Oh, this is a whole different set of circumstances. Oh, I've got a bit on you, Mr. Ryota. Woo-hoo! She hangs up and leaves me alone in the subway. I switch back to Ryota's call and unmute. He chuckles lightly. If you had just asked the police for help, I wouldn't count on. You don't know a thing, do you? I know you're a murderer. I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murder is... I'm gonna see how much of this is actually the same. I'll read it out, but I'm probably not gonna use it if it's all the same shit. We'll find out what happens. If anything different pops up, you'll see it. So, nothing interesting came up until just now. Nothing interesting was really changed except instead of saying, I know that I know that you know, he instead's like, hang up the call with the police and shit like that. Like, very few things changed that drastically changed anything. But now we get to this decision. But am I really in the position to be making demands? Which makes me, of course, go, we're saving! New empty slot. You guys actually get to watch me save for once. That's like the first time you've ever seen that. We're gonna refuse these terms. And only because Shikari says wait. So let's refuse these terms. No, if I can't see Rui, then this entire ordeal is pointless. I have to take the risk. I have to take this risk. You know me better than that, Ryota. I have to see Rui with my own two eyes. Who knows? You could be lying. You could kill her before I show up. I'm wounded. Do you really think that I would do something so cliche? Well, I didn't think you would be a serial killer, but here we are. Forgive me for not taking chances. Fair enough, boy. I'll play along. She'll be here by the time you arrive. I'll even let you see her before you enter the school. That was oddly, very oddly agreeable of him. It had to make me feel as though I've walked straight into his setup. Then, boy, is that all? Time passes ever on. Can I get anything more from him right now? The situation seems grim. There's way too many endings here that I don't want to find out. So, we can accept these terms. Or we can reject them again. I kind of want to just reject and see how far we can push this. Just for my own cliche sake. I'd also like for Rui to be untied, so she can run away. As if you wouldn't be able to chase her down. Heh, meh, playing hard to get, aren't we? Fine, because I'm so very monogamous, I accept. Would your highness also like a pony? Any new terms stack the odds more in my favor, but I'm not in a position of power. If I push too hard, everything could go south. Now I'm just rejecting just to see what happens. Reject these terms. The more advantages I push for, the better off I'll be later, right? It's worth a try. I might only have one shot at this. There's one more thing. Say, kid, I know you're stalling for time, but there's only so much garbage that I'm willing to put up with. Haven't your parents taught you what happens when you're greedy? You lose everything. His voice is as cold as steel, turning my palms sweaty. I get the terrible feeling that I've just made a mistake. Wait, then No more playing around. Seems like you got too caught up in trying to play God, kid. Rui's staying out. Sorry, guess you won't be able to see her. Get over here, or I'll give you 15 minutes. If you don't come by, well then I guess you could say goodbye to your, you'd say bye-bye to dear Ryu. And that's the last thing that happens before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway, phone swinging. All right, so we're not gonna do that. We're actually not gonna do that. We're gonna go back to that one. Just make sure that I'm at the right place. She'll be here by the time you arrive. Reject these terms. Untied. Bob Bob. Alright. And now we're accepting these terms. This is as far as I'm going. This is done. So now we've got odds in our favor. Shiguri was right. We should always wait. So accept these terms. No, if I'm honest, there's not a whole lot more I can ask without making the request seem downright ridiculous to Ryota. Rui's going to be there. I'm going to see her. The police will know where I am. This is the most I can ask for. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you'd better run. Ta-ta. And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the end of my fingertips. Now, with this, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of the same stuff. Oh, hold on. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. Wordlessly, I reach into my pockets until I remember. And then I say, you said you'd show me Rui first. He only chuckles at this. Not even a chuckle of amusement. It sounds giddy. Good, good. You're learning how to play the game. He turns and points silently to the second floor of the classroom. Most of it shrouded in darkness, but just by the window I catch a glint of... Da-da-da. You saw, didn't you? So, phone. All I saw was orange hair. It could be a dude. Sighing heavily, Ryota reaches for his phone and taps the screen a few times. He only has to wait a few seconds. Really, your boyfriend is having some trust issues. Be a dear and look out the window. I stare at the building, forcing myself not to blink, half convinced that if I look away for a split second, I'll miss everything. The head of orange hair by the window turns slowly, revealing a distant pale face, muddled slightly by the distortion of the window. But without a doubt, it's Rui. I sigh breathlessly, instinctively. Something that I can't stop in this time. Ryota smiles triumphantly. Phone? I silently hand him my phone. Turn out your pockets, pants and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt that you're carrying anything in your shoes or underwear. Come in, we've wasted enough time. We're at the back of the... and the keypad. Again, this part's gonna be a little more jump cutty because we're just gonna cut to the new pieces, the new good bits, whatever he has planned. I stop abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. There. Huddled in the back of the corner of the room are 3 desolate figures, each tied firmly to their chairs. One of them, with streaks of orange hair shining softly in the scant moonlight, is Rui. For a moment, I see nothing else. My eyes are fixed on her and my throat closes. Happy? I shuffle forward, a choked whimper teared out of my mouth before I can stop it. It's only after seeing her that the weight falls. Then I realize how long it's been since we've last spoke. And then I realize how much I've missed. This is not the time for that, Yama! This is not the time! Come on! Then I remember what life was like without... Yama, my dude. Come over here for a second. Come here. Yama, here, let's talk for a second. Let's talk. Look, we're in the middle of an entire game of chess with a mass serial killer. Would you like to, save some of those thoughts of grandeur for after, when we're not in the middle of possibly being killed at any moment, when there are less daunting stakes? Maybe you could have done this earlier, had the conversation that you liked her and that she's cool. This is not the time. We are in the presence of a murderer, someone who is trying to, yes, murder you, and probably 3 other people, because Rui's in the room now. Not the time to be love-struck. I'm just saying. Just my advice for the situation. But who am I? I'm just the person reading the goddamn novel. Then I remember what life was like without her. I brace my hands against the desk to keep myself from collapsing bonelessly to the ground, forcing slow and steady breaths into my lungs. Still alive, and before my eyes. She screams something muffled against her gag and kicks the wall. The abrupt noise stops me in my tracks. Oh, it seems the damsel in distress wants to share some little lovey words? Some lovey little words, got it. Clearly amused, he stands to his feet and swaggers over to the chairs.
In one fluid motion, he flourishes something from the teacher's desk and holds it high in the air. A knife, serrated and sickly. The blade glinted coldly at the edges. With a jolt of panic, I leap forward. Don't! He slices down. Time freezes. The tip of the knife whisks forward and over straight towards Rui's skull, searing the air below it into two. And at the last possible moment, pulls back and neatly shreds the knot of her gag. Oh my fucking god. I was about to say, no, we just did this. We just went through this. The cloth flutters elegantly in the air, coming to rest on the linoleum below. Oh, the type of flooring. I forced a ragged breath as Ryota screeches.
Oh, the look on your face! Priceless! Priceless!
I slump against the desk, my relief too great to allow room for anger. Instead, I stare at Rui, her eyes, her hair, the tip of her nose, letting the memorized image remind me of home. Comfort, teasing, loud Christmas dinners, and scented candles at the town festival, whispered inside. Yama, we've had this talk, dude. Not the goddamn time. Playing make-believe to like two little idiots. Blah. Rui. What the hell? What the hell are you thinking, Yama? Why would you come here? Her voice changes octaves with every syllable and her eyes are full of tears. But despite her terror, she's only worrying about me. I clear my throat and croak something incomprehensible, then try again. You're okay. Yeah, but not for long. Why didn't you just stay home? Because I couldn't leave her to die. Because I had something to do. I had to do something. I guess I got lazy at being lazy. She snorts out a choked laugh, something almost frenetic, as if she didn't mean to laugh, but she couldn't help it. Well, there's a surprise. She sends me a weak smile. I turn to Ryota, who only smiles lazily in response.
You see, I'm a good sport, so very accommodating.
I'm slowly turning him into the Joker. Oh God. I am slowly turning him into the I am slowly turning him into the Joker from the animated series.
You won't find an exterior of my tier anywhere else in the world.
I'm really fucking up and giving him Joker sounds. Like I had it before where it was like perfectly peeled apart. Now it's just touching together. Executioners kill for a perk. Wait, what? Did I miss something? You won't find an executioner of my tier anywhere else in the world. Executioners kill for a purpose. Executioners are given targets by other people. Is it possible to get any information out of him? Executioner? You mean glorified hunting dog? So I say with an attempt in a cold, flat tone, but to my dismay, my voice cracks. This only seems to heighten Ryota's glee.
Hunting? Hunting? Oh no. Hunting is meant for practical purposes. Hunting is for the meat, or the hide, or the money from sales. I like to think of myself as a gardener, pruning dead weight so that branches will actually grow, with actual promise can grow. My ID is my employer, my ego, the employee. My ID is my employer, my ego, the employee. And don't think I don't know what you're doing. Scraping for time won't bring that police any closer, boy.
Do you realize the sound that you sound?
No more provocations. It's time for school to begin. It's time for school to begin its session.
He abruptly pounds the handle of the knife against this desk, blasting my ears with a sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat.
You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it?
Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it.
I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully, because it's an important one. Each of us needs to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class, after all. But I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my discipline will be darling little Rui, and yours will simply be the plastic class skeleton. Or both of us will work on those other two students.
Other students? Since when were... Ah, right, the two strangers sitting by Rui. Because apparently you don't need to recognize that at all because you're too busy being loved up with Rui at the moment? I look back at this room, sizing up the three figures. The first is a girl, the second a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in the first year. They're speechless, but
Even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling down their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them absolutely terrified, innocent bystanders pulled into this sick, dastardly game. Rui is next to them. Unlike the others, she's completely still, eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. But when I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tears of fear in her eyes. She's ungagged, in a different circumstance. She would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other 2 students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word just tells me how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryota, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He's a discipliner. I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if if I don't, all of us will be killed right here and right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I would only have to maim plastic, stop on plastic, break plastic. Everything would be safe. But Rui would be at the hands of Ryota. Watching Rui get hurt, I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her. Letting her die in Ryota's hands? There has to be a different way. Then what? The other 2 students? The 2 lives instead of 1? 2 bodies instead of 1? Objectively, it's the worst decision in every way. Ryota knows this, because he knows me. Sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can give up Rui. I can't give up Rui. I just can't. But forcing 2 other students to suffer, just who do I pick? Rui and the skeleton. 2 students. Now I see all the choices that matter here. They all end up at the end. When you're probably slightly fucked anyway. God shit, dude. God shit, dude. Trust me, I realize I'm cheating. This has been too good of a series for us not to find that good ending. I need to find it. I'm sorry. I need to find that good ending. I guess we'll start with Rui and the skeleton. Rui has some advantage of not being tied up, right? So she might be able to do something. Even if it means Rui will suffer, wouldn't it be better for just one person to face the consequences? That's what I try to tell myself. If I pick Rui, then only a plastic skeleton will be my victim, not another human being. She can hate me, but I need to choose this. Then I pick Rui. Surprise flickers across Ryota's face. This is clearly not the outcome that he had been expecting. Neither did I, in all honesty. Maybe did I just... want to play hero, I see. I don't. I look at Rui helplessly. I don't know why. Seeking penance, maybe? Reassurance? Either way, it's a stupid decision. She must hate me with every fiber of her being. Even if she doesn't right now, she'll end up hating me in the future. She looks at me tearfully, but there's no sign of hatred in her eyes. She offers a weak smile. A smile? Why? Surely it's not out of gratitude. I can't even say that it's out of pride at making the right decision. I read her gaze silently as Ryota hauls her across the room. She grunts in pain as she slams her back against the chair. But that tremulous smile remains. Ah, I understand. She isn't smiling because of the emotion she's feeling. She's smiling, determined, because she knows that in the last time I can see her smile. I freeze at that reaction. A throbbing pain resounds in my chest. The last time. No, I have to believe Shigure will come. I have to trust that she'll make it in time. Why, Rui? Why? My foundation? Why? Of all people? No. Focus. Focus. And trust. I can do this. I force a tentative smile, pushing it across my face even as every muscle screams against it. Rui's eyes glisten in the moonlight, full of unshed tears. Then Ryota straightens, ignorant of our little moment, and clears his throat. Now shall I explain the rules? He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out from underneath. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length, rough around the edges. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down to pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees. Good solid blows that make nice musical sound. If you can stay sane for as long as Rui, If you can stay sane for as long as Rui is conscious, well, you win. Everyone's a winner. I try to speak past my dry throat. What? What kind of hell is this? I just hit some plastic skeleton and stand idly by as Ryota wails on Rui? He hits her until she falls unconscious? That can't be. He'll kill her that way. He can't take his time hitting her toe. He could take his time hitting her toes, then her feet, then her ankle, then some knee, working his way slowly as he breaks her body. Pain and torment without any sense of relief. That is unconscious. That is unconsciousness. My hand shakes uncontrollably as Ryota unceremoniously dumps a plastic skeleton at my feet. It gazes up at me with a macabre grin fixed on its face. Well, procrastinators never prosper, so might as well get to work. Well, procrastinators never prosper, so might as well get to work. He raises his pipe with great melodrama, and Rui whimpers reflexively. No, wait! I shouldn't have done this. I should have picked Rui. I shouldn't have picked Rui. But Ryota's pipe is already in a terrible trajectory, soaring downward, and... Shigure, where you at? Shigure, where you at? Ah! Rui's face contorts with agony as Ryota's pipe slams right into her toes. Her screams rip through the air and claws at my eardrums. She wasn't supposed to suffer. I was supposed to save her. Not Rui. Anyone but Rui. There's a shrill noise in the space between my ears as my vision pulses angrily, tilting my sense of balance. What's the matter, boy? You weren't supposed to. Rui wasn't supposed to. I thought that... Suck it up, kid. This is how lovely the world is. You'll play. George the Skeleton's about to have a bad time. He points casually at the plastic skeleton at my foot, completely unaffected. There's not a single shred of humanity left in him. Nothing that shrinks back at the prospect of harming another human being. Just pure malice. Nothing that I can fight against. We haven't gotten all day, or are you trying to stall? I swallow, mouth painfully dry. I lift the pipe and slam it into the skeleton without much thought. The femurs break cleanly, skittering into two pieces. Plastic, after all, not very strong. Even so, just the sight of it turns my thoughts to Rui. What effects did Rui's blow have on her bones? How much pain is she going through? Boring. Glad it's my turn again. You really know how to kill a crowd, kid. You really know how to kill a crowd, kid. He turns away and raises his pipe again. No! Swings it down, biceps corded with tension. Yeah. Stop. Make it all stop. She's not supposed to die. She's not supposed to suffer. My head shrieks with pain as I crumble to the ground, the pipe rolling out of my hands. Agony. Nothing but endless agony. Not her. Yeah, not her. Then I'm overcome with a wave of nausea. Not the sickening blow of a fever or a flu. Something on a deeper scale than the flows of the outer edge of my body. A sensation that's slimy and incurable. Again, my mind whispers. Again. There's silence from Ryota. Silence from Rui. Not a single peep. Even the students in the back of the room are silent. Maybe they're trying to blend in the background. Maybe they want to be forgotten. Ryota should be cackling with satisfaction. He's breaking me, and breaking me effectively. Rui, Ryota, the two students, the four of them only stare at me silently. It's frozen in time. Okay, we're doing the frozen time thing again. Frozen in. I drop the pipe, but it lands soundlessly, like the world is a velvet muffler. What is this? I step towards Ryota, but he doesn't budge. His eyes remain on the spot where I was. The room is still and silent, and miraculously peaceful, like a scene put on pause, or a stage play in the middle of an intermission. A shadow flits in the corner of my vision, immediately dawning my attention. Who's there? Nothing, of course, nothing. There is no longer anything, simply emptiness, because I am helpless, and there is nothing left for me. This is out of my control. I can do nothing more. Death after death, an endless cycle of suffering, living in the world that delights breaking innocent souls. It's better just give up and die. If I could fall to the ground right this moment, I'd just let myself rot. That would clearly be ideal. So that would certainly be ideal. Or do I need to live? To lie down without a fight, to set my revenge on the world. To make society resent the people who raised such a monster. A tantalizing thought. This is out of my control. And now in my control. Da-da-da-da-da. And so I wake. Time has resumed. No, it had never stopped at all. Rui's eyes glazed with pain, slouched against her chair, her feet certainly mangled beneath the schoolgirl's loafers. She is my first priority. I step next to Rui and reach out a hand, brushing my fingers against her cheek. Ryota does not move. He seems surprised at the motion. I take advantage of the moment, leaning in to press a kiss against her forehead. Sweet Rui. She deserved none of this. Yama? Be at peace. Before Ryota can move, I raise the pipe. One death finals. Well, we didn't do very well this time, did we? I hit dead center. Rui's neck snaps backward at the impact. She rests quietly. I straighten, closing my eyes at the solemn moment of peace in the sun. She deserves a moment of silence for respect. You monster! How could you? My eyes snap open to unwelcome interpretation and turn back to the corner of the room. Two captains bound to the chairs. I'd almost forgotten about them. Rallying against a truly tragic scenario, but they're obnoxious and hardly influential, disturbing the sacred moment. I tighten my grip on the pipe and stride to the back room. No one moves and stop me. Of course, the only one person can, and he's currently pressed to the floor in his own shock. So now I'm just a murderer. This was not what I was looking for. Instant silence. I sigh, quietly figuring fragments of blood. I'm pretty sure this is gonna end the exact same way. So yeah, that was a bad end. I'm determined. I'm goddamn determined. This might be a very long episode, but I'm fine with that. I'm determined. Let's see what happens if I do the two students. I need to find out. The reactions are immediate. Ryota's face light up, manic smile. Rui's jaw drops and the other two students explode. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please don't hurt my sister, don't hurt me! This makes me freeze, brother and sister. Cruelty will never end. I swear, if you lay one finger on my brother. Ryota stops abruptly. The momentum throws the girls against the ropes, turning into silence. This seems to be the exact same. Yama! An airy voice from the corner reminds me of Rui's presence, and she's staring quietly. You're not going to hurt her, are you? Guilt, terror, regret, anguish. You must both be feeling the full effects. Close your eyes, Rui. She stifles a quick sob. I turn to Ryota. Now that everything's set up, I need you to untie Rui. You know I can't do anything to you while you still have that knife, and neither can she. And neither of us will leave the other person to die, either. Only because you're a teacher's pet, boy. So he's untying Rui. That's different. He stalks over to Rui's chair and cleanly slices her bonds. She promptly collapses her hands together, breathing deeply. Don't run, Rui. He'll kill both of us. I won't. I turn back to Ryota, hands sweaty against the fabric of my jacket. So what are the rules of this game? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out from underneath his hard drive. 2 metal pipes. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same. Can't let this go on. I realize it quietly through the empty tighten around the pipe. I can't let this go on. Is there any way to outthink the situation? Anything at all? When it's needed most, my mind fails me. Well, your turn, boy. 4 students, including me. 4 lives at stake. 2 thrust in the middle of terrible suffering. I originally came with the intention to just grab as much time as I possibly could. I thought I could prevent a death, maybe 2. But there's no sign of the police, not even the slightest indicator that they'll come at all. And now death is looking like the best option. To buy time, I'd have to draw out this game, causing as much pain to this girl as she can bear, while the boy suffers beyond description. And if the police doesn't come, we'll end up dead. I can crack this girl's skull, give her a merciful end, and then I lose, and Ryota unleashes his knife on the rest of us. Or if I move really fast, I could put an end to both her and her brother, in which case, it would only be down to Rui and me. No, Shigure said she would come. She swore she would come. I think I found it, guys. I think I found the right ending. She said she promised. She told me. Stop dallying, buck boy. We haven't got all day. Hit the girl. Attack Ryota. We're at another point where we need to save. This is not happening. We are finding this right end. I swear to God, we're doing it. Hit the girl, attack Ryota, stall. Let's try stall. Pipes, don't you think that's a little, I don't know, dated? Just because something is old-fashioned doesn't mean it's bad. How long can I stall for? Let's just see. I don't see what you mean. Surely you do. Never been an avid fan of change, have you? So you're saying I'm stuck in my ways? We all have a natural tempo. Nothing is wrong with that. That's certainly a positive outlook. I know what you're trying to do, kid. Cut it out. Make your choice, now. It's a demon inside me that needs to know. That's enough, boy. You've tried my patience for too long. No, wait. No more waiting. His eyes flicker with rage as he leans forward and every muscle tightens from his spine. I instinctively shrink back, mind whirling. If this is the case, I can't just let things continue on. I need to act now. I pull the pipe over my shoulder with a great deliberation as I prepare myself to strike the girl again. A moment passes. Then I fling the pipe around, straight over the girl's head and right towards Ryota. Surprisingly, he's caught off guard and barely raises his pipe in time. The force of my blow crashes right against his weapon, driving straight into his shoulder. He grunts with pain, but I feel no bones give way. Nothing that could give me an advantage. Fear spikes through me, but I refuse to freeze. I continue my assault, swinging the pipe with relentless desperation. High, low, middle, anything. But with the shock of the initial assault worn off, Ryota is an iron wall. He seems to know where my blows will strike before I swing them. No, I have to hit him. I have to, or he'll take revenge. I lunge forward, pulling all my strength in this next swing. Ryota doesn't sidestep. He doesn't duck. He only broadens his stance and holds his pipe on both ends, driving it upward to meet my blow. The impact shatters my arm until his shoulders feel numb. I yell in pain, dropping the pipe on instinct. He immediately seizes the moment to bring his own pipe crashing down, right on my leg. Ew. Ugh! Pain, nothing but pain. White as a sheet in my mind, washing everything out. Ryota's voice bleeds quietly through the agony, low and mocking. Now, child, that's not how you treat your elders. You really ought to have better manners. But suddenly, I catch a blur of orange from the corner of my eye, and Ryota hisses through his teeth. In the midst of the commotion, Rui has crept beneath the desk and sidled my pipe into her own grasp. A pipe that she slammed into Ryota's knife arm. The knife tumbles out of Ryota's grasp and skitters across the floor as it stumbles onto the ground from the impact. Rui doesn't let up. She swings the pipe again straight into Ryota's neck. He emits a choked screech, but when he turns in her direction, his pipe soars with uncanny precision. Rui's eyes widen for a fraction of a second, and he slams the metal directly against her forehead. I hear the impact of her skull crumple at the force of the impact. I see her eyes empty and half a heartbeat. I hear her breath catch quietly, like she's respiratory system didn't want to be a bother. I see her head throw itself backwards in an unnatural angle, limbs splayed like a broken doll. I hear a moment of utter silence. I see her collapse gracelessly against the wall, blood pouring from her head, water from a shatter dam. A haystack, a roll of carpet. So terrifyingly limp and fragile. My mind is trapped in that moment, rewinding and playing it, but my body moves on its own accord. Ryota, still trying to recover from his crushed windpipe, is instinctively clutching at his throat. I seize Rui's pipe and without hesitation crush it against his skull. Ryota crumples into a lifeless pile. I stand there for a moment, frozen. Blood, Rui's, mixed with Ryota's, oozes down the length of the pipe, collecting in gentle ellipses of crimson on the floor. Silence, save for my breathing, heavy and fast. The two students only stare at me with wide eyes and teary faces. Blood, vomit, plus saliva mixed in a toxic concentration and polluting the air. The pipe slips from my fingers and clatters shrillingly against the ground. I'm shaking. It's like the joints of my very bones are knocking against each other, driving the breath from my body, trembling like a leaf in the wind. Slowly, I draw to Rui's side and kneel next to her. My injured leg screams in protest, but even the pain seems eerily distant. The knees of my trousers meet blood. They soak it up without protest. I cradle my hands around Rui and stare at them, refusing to look at her disfigured face. Rui, he's gone. I give her hands a gentle squeeze. They're still warm. She's still warm. Rui. It should have been a stab wound. She should have hit a pipe arm, and she should have stabbed, and he should have stabbed her. The hospitals can mend a stab wound, but a crushed skull, an instantaneous death.
Hey, I was supposed to tell you something. You can't leave me while I'm solo talking. She is still silent. Fatal blows aren't supposed to be so quick. There's supposed to be at least a moment, a grace period to share a single word, a look, a touch. I'm sorry, wouldn't have said it. It's okay, she would have. Or if she couldn't forgive me, then act like it, dummy. My hands glide up to her shoulders and gently shake her back and forth. I feel droplets of her blood flick on the back of my hands. Rui! Hey, wake up! Rui! Rui, the police are coming! Rui! No, this can't. She can't. We're supposed to be okay. It's getting dark with every word. Wasn't supposed to end like this. Rui, it's cold. Why is it cold? Rui, don't leave. Don't leave me. I don't have anyone left. Rui. It's still a bad end? How? How's it still a bad end? I mean, granted, it's not ideal. Fuck. Guys, I've been going for 2.5 hours. Part of me wants to cheat. I'm not gonna lie. Then the other part of me says, no, nay. We shan't. And you know what? I'll leave this one up to you guys. Do we continue? Do we want to find that good end? I want to find that good end. Whether I play it with you guys or not is the question, but I need to find that good end for myself. There's so many different variations of what can go on that I don't know. I hate it. This last part is a bitch and a half. This is where all the choices come in, and this is where it really sucks to suck. I don't know, guys. This has been Lucid9. The end, technically speaking, of Lucid9. If you guys want more, leave a like. Tell me in the comments that you do want more, because this is ridiculous. Now, that being said, I might start a new visual novel for next week, but that doesn't mean we can't come back to this. This is staying on my computer for a little bit. If you guys want to see the end pieces, let me know. Really, let me know. Discord, Twitter, comments, everywhere. Just let me know that you want to see more. If any one person says that they want more, I will do it. But otherwise, I might let this one sit and idly for a while. But I don't know, guys. This has been percolating. This has been Lucid9. Storytime Saturday. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real interesting. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.